Okay, what's up, everybody? It is about 1:57, going on 2 o'clock on this Tuesday. And, you know, one thing I never expect sometimes, well, actually, I do expect it, but I don't expect it to go like it has in some of my videos, is people just commenting and commenting back and forth with each other. And, people have a right to do that, no matter what the subject is. But honestly, folks, you know, when I do my videos on the whole situation going on in the Archie comics right now with certain characters, like say Sally, Sonic, Antoine, Bunny, Knuckles, you name it, um, I'm only sharing my opinions, and when I read off other people's thoughts off, from either the message boards at several Sonic sites or at places like DeviantArt, I'm just being like the middleman and just giving, reading off what they have to say, kind of being like the messenger. And when I did that text video, you know, that everybody, that text video that I did, no music, no volume, it was just all text and everything. Um, I didn't expect it to get as many, comments as it has so far. I mean, views, last time I saw about 312, maybe more. And, uh, the comments are just like, the one-time comments and they're kind of back and forth. Primarily between some fans that disagree and agree with each other. And fans I'm talking about are Jonathan83X, Grabstar, SpongeMac, Ezekiel 300 maybe, Digimon 11, you name them. The thing is, I don't want to see arguments get started. But, people have a right to say what they want to say and how they feel. You know, I get that. When I came out and I basically said that I was in the middle, I know a lot of people find that hard to believe, but it is kind of true. If I wasn't in the middle, as I've said countless times, I would be reviewing the issue every month and basically giving my thoughts on it. And believe me, from what I've heard about certain issues in the past, it might not be very good issues. You see, the thing with me is I want to basically wait till this entire thing plays out to a certain point, either by 250 or whenever. Read every issue, even if it's 2 to 3 issues a day. Then do a review. If I have to take notes, I'll take notes. If I have to review do a video of a review each day after reading, like, say, 2 to 3 issues, and then save that, and then load it up, and make a video out of it, and make one long video, then so be it. So be it. The truth is, folks, all I'm doing is reporting things that I've read and I have seen in various areas here on the internet. That's all I'm doing. And as far as Sally goes, yeah, I've come out and I've said it. And I'll say it again. I'll look you dead in the camera right now and say, I don't like what's happened to her. But here's my remedy for this. Just because I don't like what's happened to her doesn't mean I have to look at it. You see, anytime someone might post a picture of the Mecha Sally design on DeviantArt, you know what I do? I press the close button, the X button on top, so I don't have to see it. If it's part of a group picture or a group of pictures inside a group that are part of a group, then I just click it off and nothing really gets affected that much. You see, what I'm saying is that no matter how I feel about the character design or what's going on, I don't have to worry about it, because all I have to do is go onto places like DeviantArt, go to my favorites section, and just look up the pictures that I have there. Or I can look at something like this, and then I can just turn the back and I see her like that, if you will, or like that, and to me, it's like Mecha, and to me, I'm like, Mecha who? Mecha what? To me, the Mecha Sally thing just disappears. So that is one way I'm able to tolerate it. It's one way I'm able to tolerate it. And anytime I do get an issue in the mail, and let's say it has Mecha Sally's design on it, this is what I do. I take the issue, let's say this is the front cover and has Mecha Sally on it, this is what I do. I do this. Instead of having it facing me, like it's facing you, I have it facing this way. I have the front cover down. That way it doesn't bother me. But I understand that it bothers some fans. And I know the arguments are going to go back and forth. And yeah, there are going to be a lot of fans that don't like what Ian's done. I mean, you take a look at his Bumble King forum, there are people that have come out and said to him, hey, we don't like what you've done. We never have and we never will. And there are some people that do rally for him, and there are some people that do rally against him. And again, you can't blame people how they feel either way. You can't. I mean, yeah, people want to bitch and moan about what he's done and how they're against it. That's their right. And if anybody wants to bitch and moan and say that, hey, he's the best thing going right now as far as writers go for any video game adapted comic, then so be it. But you got to look at the points, if you will. Somebody over at his Bumble King forum stated that he's doing too much. He's throwing too much at the fan base. Whether they like what he's doing or not, he's throwing too much at them. And then he's got to take his time. He's got to slow down. And that's understandable. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's understandable when you think about it. And another thing that, you have to look at is patience. There's a lot of fans that, even people have told me, be patient. You don't know what he's got planned. There's been people that have told other fans out there, be patient. You don't know what he's got planned. But you see, these same fans that they tell it to, they'll come out and they say, look, we understand what you're saying about being patient and let things pan out. But you don't know what this guy's really capable of. You don't know what he's got planned. He could be telling you one thing and then he'll tell you another. You see, either way, there's no winning. I mean, Ian Flynn even said it himself. There's no winning either way. He can't satisfy one side while trying to satisfy another. There's no winning. There's no surefire win-win situation. One of the arguments people have is, some feel that they have is that some feel he could have gone a different direction. But the thing is, there's certain things going on. You have, on one hand, you have Ian Flynn saying that Sega has some mandates, some limited restrictions. On the other, you have Paul Kaminsky saying that Sega's cool with them doing the stories with the characters. And that's what kind of divides fans. It's like, well, wait a minute. If he can do, like, if they take what Paul Kaminsky says, it's like they're saying, well, why doesn't he just do that with the characters? Why doesn't he, like, let's say for the sake of argument, Amy Rose. Let's say Amy Rose. To those fans, they're thinking, well, if Paul Kaminsky is true in what he says, then why couldn't he have Amy Rose get roboticized? Well, it's real simple. It's like one person pointed out at the Bumble King forums, he could have someone like Amy roboticized, but it'd only be for a few issues, and that would be it. You see, despite what explanation you get from either Paul or Ian or Tracy, you're always going to get something similar when it comes to an explanation. It's going to be like, yeah, we could do, yeah, we can do what we can with the Gamecast, but there's very little we can do because we're limited to what we can do. But the SatAM cast, the Archie Comics original cast, hey, no problem. We're totally open. It's open season on them. And you see, that's what gets fans upset. It's the fact that basically, to the longtime fans that have been with the comic since this show was even out, and even before that, that's what makes them upset. That basically now to them, because of Sega being more restrictive or more mandated than they should be, even if they do allow very little, a very limited progression with the characters in the comic, that's what gets them upset, that they don't allow more. They don't basically to them, Sega's not allowing characters like Knuckles, Amy, Rouge, Shadow, Big. They're not allowing them to be on an equal basis along with the Satayam and comic book cast characters. Because if that was the case, there's no doubt that maybe Sally wouldn't have been roboticized, but we don't know that. We don't know that. I mean, Ian Flynn basically said this. This is what he said about his whole situation with 175. He said because of the fact that he passed the story on and it got passed by Sega, that the only exception was, yeah, Sonic can lose in 175, but he has to bounce back and win 176 and 177. And that to him, to Ian Flynn, disappointed him because Sega didn't allow him more room, more running space to go with the story. That's why he even said, according to somebody that told me, that he was surprised Sega allowed him to do the story arc so far as he's done it in the current story arc that we have. But now we're getting towards the nitty-gritty, if you will. We're getting towards the meat, the main event, if you will, of the story arc. I mean, essentially, we are, 13 months away. 13 months away, folks, from 250. 13 months. If you can believe that. 13 months away from 250. That is why it kind of surprises people. Well, not surprises people, but it's kind of why right now you have the characters bouncing back and going back to almost a regular status, with the exception of some, as some people put it, plot holes that still need to be resolved. I mean, Gameboy Sage is one of those fans that was very outspoken about what Ian Flynn had done, but has recently come around to liking what Ian Flynn's doing. But says the only thing that still eludes them in completely being turned around and enjoying the comic and enjoying the story arc is Bunny Rabbit's situation. They don't know what Bunny's situation is going to be. I mean, Gameboy Sage has said basically they don't want something like Bunny is in a state of desperation, so she just goes and gets legionized. No, they want some kind of detailed development. They want something better than just her going to her uncle and saying, hey, legionize me. That is the only thing in the eyes of some fans, like Gameboy Sage, that still needs to be resolved for them to completely come around and say, okay, maybe this rest of the story arc won't be so bad. Maybe it'll be better than we think. And what really gets a lot of fans, is you have a character like Silver, who made his debut in 2006, if you will, in the game, being constantly shoved down their throat. Now, some of them like it, and some of them don't. And then there are those that think, okay, well, if you're going to shove Silver down our throats, why not use him to go back in time with Sonic and save Sally from robotization? That's how some people look at it. But here's the reason. Again, it's because Ian Flynn, according to some people, knows that's too predictable, and that fans would expect that. That's why he has Silver in the situation he's in right now, to basically drag this on as much as he can. You see, the ultimate goal for Ian Flynn, and it looks like he's been accomplishing it, is to get the fans talking. It's to get the fans talking about the stories, about the comics. It's to gain the interest of new readers that have never read the comic and hear people talking about it to go, oh, that sounds like an interesting comic book. Let me go check it out. That's the initial plan. Now, whether we like it or not is another story. And of course, it's going to be debated. Like I said earlier, Ian Flynn basically said it himself. There's no winning right now. You can't satisfy anybody. I mean, honestly, honestly, this is the way I look at it. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. It's kind of like right now what's going on in WWE. Right now, WWE's got this storyline with John Laurinaitis and John Cena. John Laurinaitis is so hated that basically WWE's goal is to get even the Cena haters, the people that chant Cena sucks, to rally behind Cena and cheer for Cena, and right now they're accomplishing the goal. The same could be said for what's going on in the comic right now. You see, for those that hate Sally and don't like Sally, and as I mentioned before in a video, did like Sally but turned against her and disliked her, right now the plan with her situation is to get those fans back to liking her and to get the fans that never liked her to liking her as well. That's the whole situation behind this. You know, whether we like it or not. Whether we like the direction of where the comic's going or not. And to me, again, it's all about shining the spotlight on the Gamecast, and here's why. I've said it before, I've said it again, and some people have agreed, and some people say it's just coincidence. But what I feel is it's basically a pattern. You've had 200, you had the entire cast. Okay, not 200. Okay, look at this. 125, everybody. 150, throwaway. 175, Gamecast. 200, everybody. 225, everybody. 250, Gamecast. That's basically what it is. And the reason being is because it's to draw in the fans that like the games. Those, like I said, that love the games, like playing the games, that have never read the comic book. And they hear people talking about it. That is why this is happening, whether we like it or not. You know, we can throw insults at each other, you know, all we want. We can say, oh, well, you're this and that, and oh, well, this is what, this and this and that. The thing is, it's not going to matter either way. We just got to sit back and deal with it. You know, and if you want me to look at it in one way, one perspective, here's one perspective. If you want to look at it in one perspective, you know, maybe I'm wrong, and if I am, I'll be thankful. But this is one way I look at it. If you want to look at this kind of divide, those that support Ian and like what he's doing and say, hey, give the comic a chance, hey, let's put them out of the equation. Let's take a look at the people that like what Ian's doing and hope he gets rid of Sally. Or don't like what he's doing because they feel the spotlight's going to go back on Sally. And those that don't like him because they don't like what he's done to Sally, or those that do like him but don't like being well, you get the idea. But don't like those kind of, that don't like Sally and don't like what he's doing. Well, you get the idea. Here's what I think it is. Those that don't like what's going on with Ian Flynn and the whole Sally thing, and even those that do like him but don't like the whole Sally thing and hope he blows her up, it's because they know. It's because they know she's going to be back. And they want to try to be as encouraging and as influential as they can be, so that they think in their minds, oh, if Ian Flynn listens to us, he'll do what we want. He'll get rid of Sally. We'll be Sally freed. And we cannot underestimate that, because sometimes a fan, basically a fan base can be strong, especially in that kind of case. But then you got the other side that's like, look, we don't like what Ian Flynn's doing because he's done this to Sally. We don't like that. Or you got those that do like him, and they're like, yeah, we like what he's done. And you know what? We may not like what he's done to Sally, but you don't have to go and bitch and moan about it and hope he blows her up. Or, yeah, we like Ian Flynn and we like what he's done to Sally, but you don't have to bitch and moan and say, oh, he's putting the spotlight on her and all that and blah, blah, blah. You know, and even they feel they can be influential to Ian. But you see, the thing is, what they don't understand is Ian Flynn, from what he's already said, if you want to believe him or not, is he's already got 250 planned out. So whatever he's got planned out, we're just going to have to wait another 13 months to find out. But the question is, will the payoff be good? That's what people want to know. Right now, we don't know. But again, the thing is, we can argue with each other. We can insult each other all we want. The thing is, it doesn't matter what we say or do or how we feel. Right now, we just got to deal with it, no matter what. Whether you want to believe someone's in the middle or not, we got to deal with it. And the way I deal with it, if you're a Sally fan, take my advice. Look up a picture like her, of her like this, or like this. Look up a picture like that, if you will. Okay? Look up a picture like that, if you will, and say to yourself, Mecha who, Mecha what? And if you do see a Mecha Sally picture, even if it's a scan and a preview for the comic, just turn away and go like this. Like, what, where, what, where, huh, what? And then, like I say, look at a regular design. He's on a SatAM screenshot of what? Screenshot of something, or fan art, and say, that's the Sally I know, and Mecha who, Mecha what? Get what I'm saying? So, that's all I'm going to say on it. So, Jonathan83X, GameStar, and anybody else listening, I hope you take this into consideration. No matter how much you insult each other, or no matter how much you debate or argue with each other, there's nothing you can do right now but sit and be patient. And if you want to see Sally in her original design, just look up fan art or screenshots of her in her original design. And if you see a Mecha Sally design, just go like, what, where, what? And that's it. So, that's all I'm going to say. Y'all have a good day. Comment, video response below if you like.